Thank you for joining the RiverWoods Exeter 101 webinar. We're just going to wait another minute or two until all of the folks who have registered have entered into the webinar. But thank you for joining. Hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are. We certainly are here in New England, having a gorgeous, gorgeous August day. Not too hot.
Finally, no humidity
Right.
for a day.
Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. It looks like it's leveled off, the folks who are entering into the webinar. Good afternoon. You are joining the RiverWoods Exeter 101 webinar, which we offer each month to give folks an introduction to our community. Today, my name is Lisa Clark, and I'm the sales manager here. I am joined by my colleague, Dan Witham, who is one of our other sales counselors. Not joining us today is Chrissy Katie, who's taking a well-deserved vacation this week. But between the three of us, it's our role to introduce people to the RiverWoods Exeter community, answer questions, and help you to get onto the wait list if that's of interest to you, and eventually help you get moved in. So in the coming hour, we're going to be covering a lot of information, but I just want to cover a few housekeeping items. You are on mute, but we do encourage questions. And we'll take questions at the end of the presentation. You may submit them through the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. If you're on a mobile device like a tablet, it may be at the side or the top of your screen. We always welcome suggestions on how we can improve these webinars. And if you have any ideas on a future topic, we'd love to hear from you. So I'd like to start by just giving you a little bit of background on RiverWoods Exeter and the history behind our organization. You're seeing here the picture of two of our founders, Mariana Hatch, who lived in Durham, and Rosemary Coffin, who lived in Exeter. And these visionary women began planning in the early 1980s for this community, really with the goal of building a community where they could meet new friends, get involved in causes that they care about, and really stop worrying about their future healthcare needs. So they created RiverWoods Exeter, which opened in 1994. And today, more than 35 years later, after their first meeting, we have now opened 3 communities in Exeter, Durham, and Manchester, New Hampshire. So what began as a dream of a small group of New Hampshire residents who wanted to create a better way of aging it has been realized to improve the experience of aging for others. So that dream took off, and almost 30 years later, we are now a dynamic family of 3 not-for-profit communities, all with the same mission, which is to improve the experience of aging. And all 3 communities share the same values and are advised by a volunteer board that is focused on operations. The Riverwoods Group is our supportive organization that provides professional fee-based services such as human resources, marketing, IT, finance, and quality. And the Riverwoods Group also will fund any at-risk projects within our 3 communities, as well as any new ventures for the organization. It's important to note that each of these 3 communities is financially independent of one another, but they do have an opportunity to provide additional funding to the Riverwoods Group based on their available assets. The Riverwoods Group is advised by a volunteer board of directors, and they are focused on mission and growth. RiverWoods Exeter is the original campus and is now comprised of 3 campuses, all located within our 200 acres of land here in Exeter. Each campus has all of the necessary amenities that you would need, including dining rooms, fitness centers, art studios, libraries, and community gathering spaces. You'll see the names of the three campuses here in Exeter, as well as the dates that they opened, as well as the size of them in terms of apartments and cottages. It's important to note when you are looking at communities what kind of accreditation they may or may not have. We're very proud to note that we are accredited by an organization called CARF. And CARF stands for the Commission for the Accreditation of Rehabilitation Facilities. Because we offer the full spectrum of healthcare services here, we do qualify to be accredited by CARF. And they are a nonprofit accreditor of health and human services throughout the world. But it's important to note that only about 10% of continuing care retirement communities are actually accredited, and we were among the earliest to receive that accreditation. We're currently at the tail end of the 5-year period in which they accredit communities. So every 5 years, we need to update our credentials, which is quite an onerous process, but an important one. And when we were last accredited in 2019 for the current 5-year period, we earned placement in the top 3% of continuing care communities nationally. We are, as we speak, in the process of requalifying for our CARF accreditation and are optimistic that we will once again be accredited by them for the coming 5 years. If you'd like to know more about this organization, I've put the website at the bottom of the page here, www.carf.org. So if you're looking at other communities, you may want to explore the CARF website and see if those communities are accredited as well. I'd like to talk a little bit about the concept of life care. So you will hear the terms CCRC, which stands for Continuing Care Retirement Community, might be used interchangeably with the term life care. And basically, these are communities that provide you with that full spectrum of healthcare. So it is actually considered, we are actually a long-term care insurance product here at RiverWoods Exeter. We have an entry fee that you would pay when you move into the community. Our standard contract type is a 90% refundable entrance fee. So 90% of that entry fee goes back to your heirs upon your passing, or if you were to move out of the community. So because of that, it's considered a form of estate preservation, that you are able to preserve part of your entry fee for your estate or your heirs. And then we have monthly fees that you pay, which cover a wide variety of services. And we are what's known as a Type A CCRC contract. And what that means is your monthly service fee covers any level of health care, whether you're living independently or you're living in assisted living or memory support or long-term care. So that allows you to have some predictability in terms of what your monthly expenses will be. That monthly fee will give you unlimited access to assisted living and nursing care for the rest of your life with no change in fee other than we do annual price changes for cost of living adjustments. And then we also have a small additional fee when you go into healthcare for 2 additional meals per day. The main reason people come into a community like RiverWoods is for healthcare and to have that peace of mind that their needs will be cared for through end of life. And we're really resourced to support not just future needs, but current healthcare needs. Within our independent living areas, we have a wellness clinic, which will serve you as when you're living here as an independent resident. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, the wellness clinics. We also have assisted living apartments that serve both single people as well as couples. We provide memory support here as well as nursing care. And those services are in private suites, very much like a hospital room with a private bath. You would furnish it with your own furnishings so it feels like home. We also do provide respite care. So if you need some level of health care on a temporary basis, whether you're recovering from a joint replacement or something else, bad case of the flu, perhaps, we're able to care for you then as well on a temporary basis. Our healthcare is overseen by a medical director by the name of Dr. Timothy Keenan, who is a physician with Core Physicians, which is located here in Exeter. Most of the services that you'll receive here are covered by your monthly service fee. If there are certain medical services that you're receiving here, those will be billed out to Medicare or your supplemental insurance policy in the case of copays. So we are going through a shift right now in how we provide healthcare support at RiverWoods Exeter. Our original concept and what we're still operating under today is that we actually have a healthcare lodge at each of our 3 campuses here in Exeter. And within those healthcare lodges, within our 3 campuses, they each have residences for assisted living, residences for long-term care, as well as memory support. We currently offer a short-term rehab area at one of our campuses, which is the Ridge campus. And then we found that since we started this 30 years ago, a lot has changed in the environment. And we are finding ourselves faced with increasing challenges, foremost among them being staffing inefficiencies. Trying to keep to the staffing requirements across 3 small healthcare centers in different locations is a challenge. Our buildings now are older, more antiquated, so we're having some challenges with technology and staying up to date with technology across these 3 healthcare lodges. And each of those has limited amenities within them. So we're looking to shift to a different strategy, which will be a more centralized healthcare strategy so that we can solve for all these challenges. So our future vision for healthcare at RiverWoods Exeter is to have one centralized healthcare center, which will provide all the same great services: assisted living apartments, long-term care, short-term rehab, and distinct memory support residences. So we're very excited about this. We think it's going to be a great way to solve for the challenges that I listened previously, but also give us a beautiful new, comfortable building within which our residents can reside in as they move into a higher level of health care. The building is going to be designed around expanded physical amenities. So it will have its own fitness center and hair salon and library. And these were some of the things that were missing in our previous healthcare centers. And it'll be designed in this way that's called biophilic design, which means really it's going to improve the access to nature. So there will be courtyards that we will have residences built around the courtyards. We'll have rooftop decks. So a lot of ways that residents can be more connected to nature, which really helps with healing and well-being. We will be able to incorporate more technology into this building since it will be new, and a lot has changed with technology in the last 30 years. And lastly, but probably most significantly, is we'll be able to be much more efficient with our healthcare staffing so that as we have needs in different areas of our building, whether it's in assisted living or long-term care or memory care, we'll be able to shift our staff around much more easily than we can today by having them in 3 different locations. You're looking here at a couple different renderings of this new building. On the upper left would be the exterior. There's been some redesign done since these renderings were completed. So we're working on those now. Lower left, you're seeing the building with a centralized courtyard. So we're envisioning having a courtyard both on the assisted living side of the building, as well as another one where we'd have memory care and long-term care. On the right, you're seeing a rendering of the lobby area. So it'll be very bright and open and airy, lots of green, nice little coffee shop in there. So it'll be a really nice place for residents as well as visitors to hang out. The location that we have identified for this building will be on our current land, on the corner of White Oak Drive and Route 111. Realize many of you have not been here, so you may not be familiar with those roads. But basically, it's kind of in between where our original campus is of the Woods campus and the other side of Route 111, where we have the Ridge and the Boulders campuses. So nice central location. Important to note too that when we move our residents into this new healthcare building, we will be adding around 70 more apartments, independent living apartments. So we're looking at the completion of this building sometime in 2027 and the completion of more residences probably closer to 2028, 2029. All right, I'd like to move on to services and amenities that you would receive as a resident here at RiverWoods Exeter. We have a super flexible dining program, which I'm going to get into a little bit more shortly, but these are all the services that your monthly service fee would cover if you were to come live at RiverWoods Exeter. So besides the dining program, each of our 3 campuses has a fitness center as well as indoor pools. So your service fee covers access to those fitness centers, group fitness classes, and the pools. We have a lot of entertainment and cultural opportunities here across our 3 campuses. We're bringing in a lot of entertainment, which Dan is actually going to talk about a little bit more later in this presentation. We have a fantastic transportation team here that will get you not only between the 3 campuses, but they will get you to physician appointments, the bus station, the train station, the grocery store, the bank, the Walmart, Target, and so forth. So great transportation team. Your monthly service fee will also cover biweekly housekeeping services as well as weekly flat linen service. So your sheets and your towels, will launder them, fold them, and return them to you. We cover all of the interior and exterior home maintenance. So for those of you who are living in a home where you're trying to hire plumbers or carpenters or lawn care people, you can hang up those responsibilities and let us worry about that. Your monthly service fee also covers your utilities, so your heat, your electricity, your cooling. We cover most of those utilities with the exception of cable, internet, and landline phone service. And your monthly service fee also covers the wellness clinic. So if you need to go visit the nurse practitioner, you have something happening with a sore throat or some other symptom that you're concerned about, you can drop into our wellness clinic and get seen by a nurse practitioner. And that will sometimes save you a trip to your primary care physician. Again, included in your monthly service fee. And then lastly, we include 24-hour security across our campuses, as well as we have an emergency response system built into our apartments, and all of our residents receive an emergency response pendant. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about dining because dining is such an important part, not only to your well-being, but to the whole social experience of living in a community like Riverwoods. The way our dining program works is we have a monthly bank of dining points that you can use in a variety of ways. You can obviously eat in our dining room. You can use the points for takeout meals or guest meals. We also do some catering. If you're hosting an event, we can cater that for you. And then we also have perishable grocery items at all 3 of our campuses that you can pick up some eggs or milk or ice cream, or strawberries, and use your dining points towards those perishable grocery items. So we try to make it really convenient for you to be able to eat, whether it's something you prepare or we prepare for you. You can dine at 5 different restaurants that we have across the 3 campuses. And we work to be sensitive to your dietary preferences and restrictions. So you'll always find a vegetarian choice on our menus. And we also do a nice job labeling ingredients. So if you are gluten free or dairy free, you'll be able to identify which of our menu offerings will meet that criteria. We are fortunate to be surrounded by amazing farms here in southern New Hampshire. So we source pretty much whatever we can locally from the local farmers, and whether it's produce or meat products or fish. We try to get as much as we can locally so we can assure you that it's fresh. You're looking here at one of our main dining rooms. This one is at the Boulders campus. All of our dining rooms will have really beautiful light coming in, nice warm fireplaces, and just a really cozy environment. This is a picture of our bistro, which is the more casual dining space at our Ridge campus. And in the rear of that, you're seeing an entry into the more formal dining room where people tend to have dinner in that space, whereas in the foreground, in the bistro, they tend to have lunch in that space. We also have a beautiful outdoor dining area at the Ridge campus, as well as the Boulders campus. This is a picture of our country store at the Woods campus. So all 3 campuses have a country store that will be stocked with pantry staples and toiletries. So it can really help save you a trip from going to the grocery. We source all of this from a local grocery known as Market Basket, and everything is priced the same as you would pay at Market Basket. So our residents really find this a great convenience and time saver in that they don't have to run out to the store for small items. I'm going to transition now to Dan, who's going to talk a little bit more about the lifestyle here, the fun things to do here at RiverWoods Exeter, as well as help you understand what some of our apartments and cottages look like on the inside.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lisa, for a great introduction, and thank you all for attending today. Just from this slide, you know we are a pet-friendly community. We sometimes forget to mention that residents can have up to 2 pets per household. We're going to move inside the Riverwoods community and learn about some of the different community areas that residents all have access to. Starting out here with Boulders Hall. So each one of our 3 campuses at RiverWoods Exeter has a large community room. Boulders Hall, seen in this picture, can host events for residents up to almost 200 residents in this room here. So we have wonderful speaker programs, live entertainment, as you can see, the beautiful piano that's up there on the stage, and a great stage for presentations and all the latest updates on audio, visual, and technology, from sound to great speaker presentations. So again, we have one of these great community rooms at each campus. The Ridge Room and the Great Bay Room make up our other 2 campus rooms. For great aspects of living in the community is educational enrichment or speaker programs. We have a great education committee here at RiverWoods Exeter that will put together programs throughout the course of the calendar year, sometimes up to almost 20 or more programs that will be monthly for residents to enjoy. Residents that live any of the 3 campuses can enjoy these programs. So if you're a person that likes in-person lectures or presentations, these are a great opportunity for you to meet other residents, learn great new things, whether it's interest in arts, history, crafts, performances, geology, and more. So we have really great opportunities for residents to keep on learning once they're a resident of our community. We also do cultural outings to local locations. They're doing currently a history tour of Exeter, so residents that live in the community can learn more about the local community, and then go to other offsite excursions in areas from gardens to other areas around the community. Each one of our campuses also has a beautiful resident-run library. Residents love the option of being able to get a book so close to home. So residents will maintain our libraries with our library committee, having new books come into the community on a quarterly basis so residents can enjoy new books. And then, of course, we have books that have been on our shelves for some time. The resident-run libraries are available on each campus, available 24 hours a day for residents to enjoy aspects of everything from large print books to our Ridge that has a great mystery room. And then every library has access to daily newspapers. So if you're a person that still enjoys reading your local or regional newspaper, the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, that crossword puzzle, those are all available at each campus for residents to enjoy. And then we also have the connection with the Exeter Town Library. So if a book is not available in our community at one of our 3 campuses, residents can also have a book delivered to the community or access the Exeter Town Library, which is just about 5 minutes away from the community. Fitness is also another great aspect of living in our communities. Each campus has its own fitness, or think of it as a gym, available to residents, 24-hour day access, just footsteps from your home or your apartment or cottage. Each of our 3 campuses has a fitness center for residents to enjoy. Those also include fitness classrooms. So if you're a person that prefers doing a fitness class versus working out as your own, you can take part in the fitness class activity. Those run Monday through Saturday in the community. So if you like things like everything from yoga classes, strength and balance, even some new boxing programs. Our fitness team is very innovative and really great working with residents on all their needs in the community. Each one of our campuses also has access to an indoor pool. Indoor pool access to residents at each of the 3 campuses. This picture shows our Boulders indoor pool. If you are a person that likes swimming laps in a pool, this pool is perfect for you. So there's a dedicated lap lane for residents to use. All of our pools have locker room access for residents coming and going. The pools are heated pools for those of you that like a warm pool, about 84 degrees or warmer. For those people that like a lot of fitness in the pools, maybe a tad bit warm. 4 to 4.5 feet deep of any of our pools in our 3 campuses as well. And those pools also do everything from aquatics activities to our water volleyball program in the community, which is a very active group of residents really enjoying participating in that sense of community in the pool as well. This is our Boulders fitness room. So you'll see residents have full options to use any of the fitness equipment, from treadmills, rowing machines, elliptical, even strength training equipment in the community. Again, everything is very easy access for residents to come down to. Our fitness team is made up of 7 fitness managers that will assist our residents from day one when you come into the community. And for those residents looking for more fitness or more one-on-one opportunities, you can also hire our fitness team members to do one-on-one fitness programming for you as a resident. We also have outdoor fitness activities. These 2 ladies are showing you in front of one of our pickleball courts. We have 2 pickleball courts at RiverWoods Exeter. I used to say it's the up and coming thing. Now it is the thing that residents love to do from an outdoor fitness activity. We also have 2 bocce ball courts. So if pickleball is a little more extreme for some residents, bocce ball might be another good alternative, and even horseshoe pits at RiverWoods Exeter. Our fitness team has brought a lot of our fitness activities to the outdoors as well. We have over 4 miles of outdoor trails that residents can use to walk around the community, which is a great opportunity just from an easy access standpoint. And then outdoor fitness activities such as cycling. We also do activities in the winter, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing when we have some snow, and in the summer, again, more fitness activities, some hiking groups, and more. So if you are a person that loves fitness, RiverWoods Exeter certainly has a lot of opportunities that you can continue doing right in our community. We also have a very vibrant arts community at all three of our campuses at RiverWoods Exeter, and those including art studios at each one of our three campuses for residents to participate in maybe an art class, a program run from an outside art instructor, resident instructors, or just taking part in an activity, sharing space with other artists or aspiring artists, as we'll say, as not everyone has that artistic background in their nature. We have a beautiful pottery studio located at our Ridge campus, where residents will teach other residents how to do simple pottery instruction. And then we also have wood shops in our community, which we'll be learning in just a minute as well. So a lot of great opportunities for residents to kind of maintain things they did in their home and continuing that arts in the community. And those include fabric arts, people that do quilting, needlepoint, and more. So residents can use those art studios and really kind of continue on some of those traditions. This is one of our art studios located at the Woods campus. So you can see really a lot of bright light that comes into the community. Residents can take shop here, work on their own projects, whether it's on an easel. And then you'll see in the lower left-hand corner, something unique to RiverWoods Exeter is Nantucket basket making. So this has been a tradition around the community for many years, where residents can learn how to make Nantucket baskets, taking a course with other residents and then having a great basket to show for them. I recently talked to a resident, and I think she's made almost 30 baskets in the community since she's moved in. So a pretty impressive feat. It's a lot of work to create one of those little baskets there. As I mentioned a bit earlier, we also have wood shops. This is a picture of the Woods wood shop. That's a tough tongue twister to say today. We also have a small wood shop at our Ridge campus. We have a great wood shop that any resident that has interest or continuing something they did in their home doing here at the community. You'll see this really group of residents here. We have some residents that are in the wood shop on a daily basis, working on things such as our trail signs, as the resident here on the left has. They even do benches for our trails in the community. The gentleman in the middle working on a canoe paddle builds these really fantastic handmade canoe paddles in the community. And then we have residents that will even build pieces of furniture in our wood shop or fix furniture. So a number of different opportunities for residents really to kind of maintain that lifestyle that they did, or learning a new opportunity and that sense of community being around people as they're doing it. We also have a vibrant music program for those people that have a background or interest in music, whether it's part of our chorus. We also have 2 barbershop quartets, an all-male and an all-female barbershop quartet, unique to RiverWoods Exeter, and then different instrument groups as well. So you'll see this group of ladies here. We have some really talented musicians, though we don't look for the most talented musicians. We look for anyone that would like to participate in any of our music programs. It's a great sense to meet other residents, to bring something that you love to do and continue doing it in the community. Our chorus, our barbershop quartets, and instrument groups will play for various activities around our 3 campuses. So not only do they get to practice and play, but the residents get to enjoy the time listening to other residents as well. We also have a dedicated music room available at the Woods campus with a piano. So if you are a resident who wants to practice or just use their instruments on their own, it's a great opportunity to do so in the community. And for you that love the outdoors, another great opportunity for you in our community is outdoor gardens or raised garden beds, as we have them in our community. All residents every spring, we have a great garden committee. They will reach out to residents that have interest in gardening to have one of our raised garden beds. Those are located at each of our 3 campuses. Residents will grow wonderful vegetables. Our flowers this year are probably some of the nicest flowers I've seen in the community. We have a lot of green thumbs for residents. So not only the garden beds, but some other areas around the community. If you ever come for a tour or visit, you'll notice the beautiful grounds, including New Hampshire's largest arboretum of over 300 species of plants and trees located at our Ridge campus. So residents have great opportunity to do landscaping, gardening, and we even have a greenhouse available. If you are a person that needs to repot plants, start plants in the spring, that is available at our Woods campus for all residents to enjoy as well. Going to take you inside, talk a little bit about our apartments and cottages, as RiverWoods Exeter has both apartments and cottages based upon the campus. All of our apartments and cottages have fully equipped kitchens. Those include all appliances that are maintained and upkept by RiverWoods, including full-size stove, refrigerator, microwave, dishwasher for most apartments, and garbage disposals. All apartments and cottages have individual controlled HVAC or heating and air conditioning. That is all included in your monthly service fees. So if you like a person that likes nice cold temperatures or nice warm temperatures, you control your own. Every apartment has their each own individualized system. We are complete community Wi-Fi enabled. As Lisa mentioned, the only additional fees that people would pay are for Wi-Fi, cable, basic cable, and a landline phone. All of our apartments at RiverWoods Exeter do have beautiful solariums of various sizes, and those include everything from a studio apartment up to our largest 2 bedrooms. The solarium almost acts as an additional room for some apartments, really gives residents access to a lot of natural light that comes into the apartment. And our first floor solariums are all walkout solariums, meaning walkout access, direct access to the outside. In each of our 3 campuses, we also have storage areas. As residents are looking to downsize and move to the community, additional storage is very valuable. So each resident would have a 4x4 storage cage available outside of their home or cottage. We also have 24-hour emergency response for all residents. Those are e-call pendants that residents can wear around their neck or on their wrists. So if you ever have an emergency, just press that button and someone from our team will come to your safety. We also have guest rooms at all 3 of our campuses, or we call guest suites. Those are available for residents to book 45 days in advance for people coming to visit you in the community. Residents can have visitors in their home or apartment or cottage, but those guest suites are a great opportunity for people to stay right in the community. There is a nominal charge for overnight stays that would just go on your monthly service fee. And then we do have a variety of parking options available to our residents. All residents are assigned a parking space, 1 or 2, based upon a single or couple. And then we do have additional parking options from covered parking carports, garages, and then under building parking at both the Ridge and the Boulders. I'm going to take you inside so you can see a few of our apartments, some recently refurbished here. So this is an apartment at our Woods campus. This is a trillium or a large 1-bedroom apartment. You'll see in the very front is that solarium. This is a first floor solarium, so it has direct access to the outside. You would have a 10x10 space on the outside of a first floor apartment here. Very spacious floor plan, lots of light coming in here. You'll see some other features, including luxury vinyl planking flooring, which is standard in our living and dining areas. And you'll see how residents set up with a dining table and then seating area. As we move to the next slide, you'll see a little more of our kitchen. All of our kitchens are mostly open concept kitchens, open to the living dining area, so really offering a lot more space and light. This kitchen has recently been refurbished. So when we refurbish apartments, all new white cabinetry here. You'll see stone countertops, generally a quartz variety of various colors around our community. And again, those stainless steel appliances, which are all standard. A good amount of cabinet space. That's a big concern when residents are moving into the community. And then drawer space, additional storage space around here as well. Our next slide, this is going over to a Magnolia apartment. This is more of an open floor plan over at our Ridge campus. You'll see again the open kitchen, looking from the kitchen out to the living dining area. You'll see these residents were able to have both a table and another space, and then that large solarium towards the very front with the 2 sitting chairs. In this floor plan, the bedrooms are separated on each side. This is a 2-bedroom, 2 full bathroom floor plan. So it really gives you a much more sense of space. Many people generally concerned when they move from their large home to an apartment of what size apartment or cottage would be most appropriate. So various sizes. We have over 40 floor plans at RiverWoods Exeter, from a studio all the way up to a large cottage as well. This is a Cypress apartment. We like to focus on each campus. This is at our Boulders campus. So just showing you a little more style, different shape. Again, that open kitchen concept. Some of our residents are very creative with their furnishings. Many people bring what they had in their home to RiverWoods Exeter. Some people buy new furnishings. Some people like lots of color. So you can see a lot of different variety of just ways people set up their apartments based upon their lifestyle that they lived and what they're moving into the community as well. Showing nice carpet here. So really a way to brighten up apartment with various furniture types. You can even do that with your wall colors, as we will repaint all of our apartments for new residents as well. This is our spruce cottage. As you move, the cottage is a little bit larger in scope and nature. So the kitchen in our cottage will be much more of a full-size kitchen. So again, just showing you a different countertop option here, more of a granite countertop, a different change of colored cabinets, all the standard appliances as well. So as you move to larger apartments, kitchens generally get larger. Some people will use the kitchen to their full ability. Other people will use dining, and this beautiful stove, oven, all these things will just be really for show in that particular case. Also, a few other aspects of the community, as we like to mention our location. As Lisa mentioned at the top of the program today, some of you are maybe very familiar with the town of Exeter in the Seacoast region of New Hampshire. Other people may be joining us from much further away, looking to move closer to children or really enjoy the advantages of the state of New Hampshire. So we're about 5 minutes to the town or downtown Exeter. It's a beautiful, small downtown, not overpopulated. So some really good restaurants and shopping, and then another 5 minutes over to the town of Stratham, which has more shopping available for grocery stores and more. We are located on 200 acres of land here at RiverWoods Exeter, very close to the Exeter River. We have not had many issues with flooding or anything like that. We just like to make note of that, as a lot of other areas around the country have really had those challenges. We are a great location from access to major points of interest. The city of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, if you are a person that likes the arts, culture, dining, it's a great dynamic community, about less than 25 minutes away. And then the communities of Portland and Boston, less than an hour away, are those 2 major cities, and also the city of Manchester, New Hampshire. We are proximity to the seacoast. If you'd like to get out to the ocean, just a little over 20 minutes out to the ocean and the beachfront properties there. And then proximity to the lakes region and the mountains. If you'd like to ski, we are less than an hour from Gunstock ski area, and about 2 hours from the larger ski areas in the lakes region of New Hampshire as well. So really very close to everything right here in the seacoast region. And then access to some other good points. We always like to mention the Amtrak Downeaster comes right into downtown Exeter. That is a train system that will bring you down to Boston or up to Portland, Maine. And then we also give rides out to the Seabrook bus station, which is C&J. So you can go down to Boston Logan Airport and take a flight anywhere around the world. Tax advantages are another aspect that many of you might be looking at when coming to a RiverWoods Exeter or a continuing care retirement community. New Hampshire is one of the least taxed states in the nation. We don't have any general sales tax and no personal income tax. So some of you looking ahead, these might be some really good considerations to look at our community. And also, again, we mentioned the 5th lowest tax burden in the country. There are also tax advantages on behalf of the non-refundable portion of your entrance fee, and then also a portion of your monthly service fee as you are prepaying for future medical care can be considered a tax advantage based upon your tax situation. And those will be updated every January for our residents that live in the community, so you can find out how much information, how much of that monthly service fee is a tax deductible situation. We also like to give you, for those who are fairly new or just learning about our community today, just an overview of our pricing and our categories of apartments. You'll see that we have apartments ranging from a studio of just under 600 square feet all the way up to our largest cottage, which is just under 2,400 square feet. A lot of our communities have a mix of one bedroom with den, and two bedroom, and the cottages will be at the Ridge and Boulders campuses. As Lisa mentioned earlier, we have an entrance fee. Our standard contract at RiverWoods Exeter is a 90% refundable entrance fee. You'll see the entrance fees listed by the size of the apartment up to cottages. And we do have a second person entrance fee that would be added on to the first if you are more than one person in an apartment. And then the monthly service fees, again, based around the size of the apartment, are listed to the right here. There is a second person monthly service fee, that 2,052 number, that would be added to the first person. And as you access those higher levels of care in our community on that 90% refundable contract, your monthly service fees would maintain with you other than annual increases in the cost of those two additional meals. I'm going to turn it back over to Lisa. She's going to go over a few more things here, how to join our wait list, and then we'll go over a few common questions and then look to take some of your questions at the end.
Great. Thanks so much, Dan. By now you may be curious about how to get on our wait list. And first I should say, yes, we do have a wait list here at RiverWoods Exeter. It's a lot of demand now for continuing care communities like ours. So there's a lot of people out there shopping to be on a wait list. You are looking at a very enthusiastic group of bocce players here at our Woods campus, where the required dress code is striped socks. And they include a mascot in the games located at the bottom of the picture. This is just one of the many ways that people have fun who live here at RiverWoods Exeter. So I want to kind of fill you in on our wait list process. We are currently estimating a wait time of between 3 and 8 years for apartments and cottages. And the wait time depends on the floor plan. You will find the lowest amount of wait time is for one bedroom apartments, and that is estimated to be around 3 years. Anything larger generally gets into the 5+ years. So particularly our largest two-bedroom apartments, we are estimating between 6 and 8 years of wait time, and cottages between 5 and 8 years. That said, crazy things happen sometimes, and we do find ourselves offering apartments to people who have been on our wait list for a much lesser wait time. So it is rather unpredictable, but we try to have full transparency of our wait times because it's important that you get into a community while you still can qualify medically to live independently. So we try to be realistic and probably a little conservative in the estimated wait times that we share with prospective residents. If you were interested in applying to join our wait list, you would first complete what we call a confidential data profile that would determine your financial qualification. And once you are qualified, we would have you sign a waitlist agreement and submit what we call a reservation fee, which will hold your place on our wait list. The reservation fee ranges between $25,000 and $99,000. And again, it depends on the size of apartment or cottage that you're waiting for. So anything that's in the two-bedroom range will be between $60,000 and $99,000 reservation fee. While your reservation fee is sitting with us and you're waiting for a residence here, that reservation fee will earn 4% simple interest. And that is if you actually end up moving in. If you decide not to move in, you earn 0.25%, but your reservation fee would be fully refundable with exception of a $1,000 cancellation fee. So it is relatively low risk to be on the wait list, but we do, of course, require a fairly substantial reservation fee as a sign of commitment. Our process is really flexible. If you've looked at other communities, you've probably heard things about being on a ready list, or if you get called and you say no, it's a strike against you. Our process is really different. It's very flexible, and we work with you over the course of the years to make sure that we are calling you when you're feeling you're ready to come here. If we call you with an apartment that's become available before you're ready and you say no, there is no penalty for that. It's just a conversation. So, very flexible process. You can modify the size of apartment that you're listed for over the time that you're on the wait list. So, it's our role to really make sure we're working with you on a plan that's going to meet your goals for when you want to come into a community. Dan and I are going to address a few questions that are commonly asked, and I've already seen some pop up in our queue of questions. And if we haven't answered what might be top of mind for you, please submit your question in the Q&A box that's located at the bottom of your screen. And we typically prioritize what we feel are the questions that would appeal to the broadest group of people. But certainly we are available after the webinar concludes to answer further questions. We try to keep this to an hour. So if we don't get to everything, we will be sure to follow up with you because we do have a log of all the questions that will be answered. So the first question I am going to let Dan answer and read to you. Dan?
Sure. And actually, it's a question someone asked as well. So frequently asked, and we're going to go over it. I have a long-term care insurance policy. Can I use that at RiverWoods Exeter? So it's a great question, and we get asked this often, so why we put this on here. So RiverWoods Exeter is a self-pay community. Those people with long-term care insurance policies, and we do see many, can join our wait list and move into the community. Once you're a resident and you do need that higher level of care, you could open up a claim with your insurance provider based upon the restrictions, the rules, the information. And then you would get reimbursed through your long-term care insurance provider. You would still pay Riverwoods your monthly service fees, but again, reimbursement at that higher level of care. As an independent resident, most people would not get much from their insurance policy at that time, but it is possible. We also recommend people, once they move into the community, if you decide to keep your policy, to maintain it, to make sure you're not going to decide to leave the community, because we wouldn't want you to lose your policy at that time and not have any coverage.
And Dan, that's maintain it for the first year that they're in residence, right?
That is correct.
Great. Okay, second question. What happens if one partner in a couple needs a higher level of care? It is true that most couples do not age at the same pace. So quite often we find one partner declining and needing more support, whether that's a mobility issue or a cognitive issue. And in this case, the partner who would need the higher level of care may opt to move into either an assisted living apartment, nursing care, or memory care, while the healthy partner remains in their independent apartment. The only additional fee in this case for occupying two separate apartments would be a fee for 2 more meals per day for the partner living in healthcare. So it's a way of supporting both partners in the same community for the same monthly fee that you were paying when you were living together independently. Dan?
Sure. Yep. What if I'm not ready to move when you call me about an apartment? Do I go to the bottom of the list? As Lisa explained just on just slide previously, we're very flexible. Our first step would be a call of readiness to see if you'd be ready to accept an apartment or an offer on an apartment in that particular case. If you were not ready, we'll go to the next person on that list for that apartment style, and you maintain your place based upon when you put in your reservation fee and applied to be on the wait list at RiverWoods Exeter. So we're very flexible. If by chance you were interested, went through the process process of qualification or requalification and saw the apartment and you decided you didn't want the apartment, certainly you could do so. You could do that up to 3 times before you would then go to the bottom of the list. But very unlikely, and again, from a readiness standpoint, you would maintain your place on the list.
Okay, next question. How long do I have to move in once I am offered an apartment or cottage? We are typically refurbishing our cottages and apartments in between 60 to 90 days. So from the time we contact you until the time your apartment or cottage would be due and your entry fee would be due would be roughly 2 to 3 months. We try to give as much lead time as possible. And in the current real estate environment, that has not been a challenge, though we realize sometimes it may be a challenge in the future as real estate markets change over time. But the entry fee would be due at the time the apartment is completed, and that's when the monthly service fee begins as well. You don't have to move in at that point of time, but that is when your financial obligations would begin. Okay, we are going to move to the questions that we have in our queue. So I'm going to go to the first one. Dan, I trust you're seeing these. Do you want to answer this question from Jason?
Sure, absolutely. There was a question about care services being dropped from the 3 existing campuses when the new health center is open. So currently, assisted living, dedicated memory support, and nursing care would go to the new health center. Our current wellness clinics that are located at each of our 3 campuses would remain at each of the 3 campuses. So centralizing the higher level of care, the wellness centers will remain at each campus is the current plan.
Great. Thank you, Dan. I'm going to knock off a few questions that are around financially related questions. One is, what have been the recent increases in monthly service fees? This current year, our fiscal year starts on July 1 and runs through June 30th. Current year increase was 3.25% on our monthly fees. Prior to the pandemic, it averaged just under 3% for the 15 years prior to the pandemic. During the pandemic, we took some heftier increases because we raised minimum wage for our employees as well as nursing wages. So during the 2 years prior to this, the monthly fee increases were 6 and 8% respectively. There's another question about is there interest that accrues on the entry fee? And the answer is no, we do not pay interest on the entry fee. And is there an adjustment in monthly fees if you're away for 4 to 6 months? Yes, we do have an offsite credit. If you are not occupying your apartment, it is a fairly nominal credit because our operating costs don't go down all that much when people are not occupying their apartment. But there is an offsite credit, as well as you can drop down to a lower meal plan, and you would get a credit on your monthly bill for being on a lower meal plan. So I think that covers a few of the financial questions. Dan, would you like to answer questions about surrounding the medical requirements for living in independent living?
Sure. When residents are on a wait list and your name comes to the top and we reach out, if you are interested in moving forward to an offer, we do have a we call requalification from a financial perspective, and then we do a health assessment. That is a one-on-one meeting with our nurse practitioner in the community. They will meet with the incoming resident or residents to make sure that everything is, they're not going to be basically a threat to the community or a threat to themselves living independently in the community. So we do that just to maintain that residents are living safely in the community at that time. So that is the assessment that would be determined by our nurse practitioner in the community.
Great. Thanks, Dan. Um, commonly asked question is if you wanted a larger apartment or cottage, but a smaller one becomes available first, can you move to the smaller one and stay on the list for a larger one? You are able to move internally. We don't do it very often. We really encourage people to wait for the residence that's going to work for them over the long term. That said, we do have an internal move policy. You need to live here for a minimum of a year before you can get on that list to move internally. We have a ratio of new residents to current resident moves that we enforce, and then you need to pay for the refurbishment of the apartment that you're moving out of. So, yes, it's possible, but it's not a strategy that we encourage for you to get into the community sooner. It's hard because people feel really unsettled if they're living in an apartment that they feel is a compromise for them. And our goal is to have you moving in feeling delighted with the apartment or the cottage that you have selected. There also was a question related to this about can you be listed for more than one model of apartment while on the wait list? We keep a separate wait list for every style of apartment and cottage. So you can be listed for as many of those that you would realistically consider living in. So we often have people who are on, 5, 6, 7 different lists for different models of apartments. It's very flexible and you can modify that over the years because, as Dan said, we have more than 40 different floor plans. So it's hard to get familiar with them in just 1 or 2 visits. So we do have folks on our wait list making return visits. That's part of our job is to help you get familiar with the community. And as you do get more familiar, you might decide there's a certain campus that you prefer, as well as certain floor plans that you prefer. Dan, do you want to answer this question from Mary about the dining tokens?
Sure. Dining, good term, tokens. I like that. Cute there. Our dining points do not expire residents. They will roll over from day to day, month to month. So you can track your dining points to see if you're on the right program or if you need to change your program to a lower dining points program and save on that monthly service fee. So most residents will go for about a quarter, 3 months, see how it goes, and then you can always adjust that based upon that. Those dining points are also good for any guests that come in to visit you, and as Lisa mentioned earlier, good for takeout and our marketplace where you can get everyday items as well. So a lot of opportunities to use those points in our community.
And those dining points you get each month cover about 30 meals per month, but that's a 5-course meal. So we often have people kind of stretching that out to cover more than one meal a day, depending upon how much they eat. So we are out of time. I know there's a few more questions we haven't answered. We will follow up with you directly with answers to those questions. But as I said earlier, we try to keep this to 1 hour, and we are at that hour. So we appreciate you joining us today. I would like to alert you to an upcoming webinar in Thursday, September 26th, which is about choosing a life care plan. So great seminar that we'll be offering from 1 to 2 o'clock on Thursday, September 26th. You can register on our website. And we thank you for joining us today and look forward to helping you explore RiverWoods Exeter a little bit further down the road. Thanks so much. Have a great day.